my name is Mei Huan, and I am a 17-year-old student from Toronto, Canada, and I'm also the inventor of Coast, which is an optical shoe pad mouse for people with upper limb disabilities, and it basically allows them to utilize computer technologies. And today I'll be introducing more about my work and the impact that it has made in my community. So, what is Coast? Coast, again, is a technology that basically revolutionizes technology access. And in basic terms, it's just a shoe pad mouse that people can use with their feet. So think of a regular computer mouse, but you can operate it with your foot. And it allows people who don't have a lot of mobility in their upper limbs to use everyday technologies such as the computer. And it allows them to go to work, learn, and prosper in their careers and their lives. So, this is a little bit more about some inspiration behind my project. So, I actually got started by having a background in both the arts and the science. So, I went to a specialized arts program in high school, and I was also super interested in STEM, specifically in the topic of sustainable technology. And I utilized that with my passion for design and fashion. So that was the background that I came from. And yeah, this project is all for the disabled community. And it's something that I do to give back to my peers, my community, and yeah, just contribute to society a little bit. And how this all started was when I was in 10th grade, so I was around 15 years old, and I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and she comes from Syria, and she was telling me about the civil conflict that was happening there and about how it basically impacted a lot of people and community members. And after hearing her story, I decided to make my culminating research project about the conflict and about the effects that it had on the people living in that country. And after doing some research, I came across the story of Naker, which is a Syrian swim instructor. And basically, what he did was he operated a swimming school for children that was affected by the civil conflict. And a lot of these kids were amputees who didn't have access to upper limb mobility anymore. So then he used swimming as a way to coach them and to kind of put some fun back into their lives and let them reclaim their bodily autonomy. And it was a very touching story, and that inspired me to begin to get curious about how amazingly the human body functions and how these kids, although they lost upper limb mobility, they were able to use their legs and their feet to just perform everyday activities. And after that, I was at a spring fellowship at the University of Waterloo. I was at the mechanical engineering program, and I shared the story with an educator there. And he actually inspired me to, start asking questions and start looking into myself about different ways that I can innovate to take action and think of a way I can incorporate technology and actually make change due to this story. And he believed in my idea, and yeah, it all started from there. So that's how I kind of fostered innovation by prioritizing foot movement. And that was the beginning of my 2-year journey of creating Coast. So now I'll get a little bit more into the design of my invention. So as you can see here, this is a illustration of Coast. It's one of my more earlier prototypes. It's something that I pitched to a lot of different organizations, and it's just a good representation of how this technology works. So we're currently operating on a foam shoe pad type invention, and it's around a 1.5 centimeter thick foam board, and the shoe size is obviously adjustable, and we're currently working on having it adjust to different shoe sizes, so men's, women's, and children. So there's one integrated sensor and a controller chip at the bottom, and it also operates on a single circuit board. So there's plastic stabilizers, 3 micro switches and also a capacitor on the inside, as you can see over here. And we're also working on like a USB connect so it can become wireless. And the idea is basically that people can wear it in all kinds of shoes. And it could be something that's discreet that can be brought into offices and schools, so it doesn't interfere with like everyday living. So obviously at the top, there is space for like a right and left click button and a hole for X and Y axis wheel movement. So then it basically operates like your normal computer mouse that you see every day, but instead you can operate it with your foot. So that is the general design behind Coast and my invention. So this is a little bit more into the development process of my project. So this all got started when I pitched my first prototype, which I'll show in a moment, to SCWIST, which is the Science Community for Canadian Women in STEM. And they actually gave me my first fund through a scholarship to start working on my invention. So without them, I wouldn't have been able to create any prototypes. And Coast went through 2 hand-drawn drafts where I basically explored the ideas of different models, different measurements, and different technologies that could be included to make this Coast like as like accessible and convenient as possible. And my invention also went through 3 revised prototypes. I remember the first one was like literally on cardboard. And after like finalizing all the measurements, then I moved on to using like memory foam and basically exploring different materials that I had access to through the funding that I received. So yeah, this is one of the earliest sketches that landed me the fund from SCWIST, and it's hand illustrated. Again, I come from like a background of graphic design and visual arts, so this was something that was really fun for me to do. And yeah, just the monumental piece to what got my project started. And in the earlier days, I wanted to use like rubber and foam lining, and I had like different like metal and like rubber metal parts on the inside to keep everything together. But yeah, this is figure one of my most earliest sketches of Coast. So now I'm going to move on to one of my most favorite parts of the project, which is obviously the community impact that my project had. So I was fortunate enough to enter my earliest prototype to the International Invention Innovation Competition in Canada, where I won the Best Young Inventor Award and the gold medal. At that time, I think I was 16 years old, so I was actually the youngest competitor to win 4 medals at the competition. And I was super, super excited about this because what came with it was national media coverage, which was a place where I can do a little bit more of my advocacy work. And I was able to truly use my invention as a platform. I was also the 2023 Ingenious Regional winner on behalf of Ontario, and I received more funding to continue with my project. And the most exciting thing that I've been able to take on with my invention was being a Europe/Canada region finalist at the Commonwealth Youth Awards. And I was able to go to England and go to St. James Palace to talk a little bit more about my project and present it to such like a splendid audience of other young changemakers. And I'll get more into that later on as well. But as I said, the best part about Coast's impact on the community was that I was able to receive national media coverage for my invention. So I was able to go on the National Observer where I got to share my story as like a teen who got into STEM work and invention. And I got to like broadcast it throughout the GTA and throughout Canada, where I first got the word out about what Coast was, and also like that advocacy piece of disabled rights and really shining a light on the importance of recognizing the disabled community and also making sure that they get access to like the little things that we take for advantage, like access to like innovative buildings, access to different technologies, and just really putting word out there that there is a community out there who would appreciate like our advocacy and our allyship as like differently abled people. So that was a really like eye-opening experience. And of course, I was also published on a local media. So I come from Markham, so getting featured on the Markham Economist really hit close to home, and I was able to hear back from community members. I actually had a middle school teacher come up to me and tell me about how her grandmother had like Parkinson's disease, and my invention would have been like really helpful for her family's lives. And I had a whole conversation about her with her, and that was like really, really touching and definitely a highlight and a reminder of why I do the work that I do. Yeah, so that's a little bit more about some of the awards and the recognition that my invention was able to receive. Again, one of the biggest pieces for conversation when it comes to my invention was being invited as a representative of Canada and Europe as a finalist at the Commonwealth Youth Awards. I went to St. James Palace. I was able to present my project, and I was acknowledged by Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, for contributing to the UN SDG Goal 9 about innovation. And it was just like a life-changing experience because I got to meet so much new people, and I also got to like really pitch my invention to a lot of amazing charities across the Commonwealth and across the UK that I would have never got the opportunity to if I didn't start my project. So yeah, I'm gonna end off my presentation by talking about the future of Coast. So right now, where we're at is we're pitching to a bunch of different charities and prosthetic companies to try to get like affordable yet innovative solutions out there, and also work on like a final prototype of my invention. But we're also remembering that important advocacy piece, and I'm currently working on like contributing to the Global Disability Children and Young People's Charter, and contributing as an ally to the disabled community. And finally, I've want to make it my mission as a lifelong commitment to the disabled community, and basically have an evolution from curiosity to advocacy, which is like the journey of my invention. So, yeah, today I want to leave a message for everyone, which is what will you innovate for a more inclusive future? I just came from like a regular high school background, and a simple curiosity and inspiration from a story that I heard from a friend. And I went on this like incredible journey of innovating and creating and advocating for a definitely underrepresented community. So, yeah, I just want to leave everyone today with a question and a challenge to innovative for a more inclusive future where they can see themselves and their community members in. Thank you so much.